Spanish as we know it was once just a Latin dialect spoken by a small group of shepherds in the northern Iberian Peninsula. Before it could become the international language it is today, it needed to conquer Spain. To do this, it would need some help, and it got that help in the form of Alfonso X, el Sabio, el Rey de Castilla y de León. I'm going to call Spanish Castilian for the rest of this episode, because we're not really talking about the modern language. We're talking about the language spoken in the Kingdom of Castile in the Middle Ages. When Alfonso took the throne in 1252, the Iberian Peninsula had been under Muslim rule for almost 5 centuries. This meant that even the areas under Christian rule were both multi-ethnic and, more importantly, multilingual. Alfonso earned the title El Sabio for a very good reason. He took advantage of the diversity at his court to raise the prominence of Castilian. In most medieval courts, the scribes were trained by the Catholic Church, and this meant Latin. But in Castile, there were educated Jews and Muslims, and they were more than happy to work in Castilian, since it was not a language of the church. El Sabio actively worked with his scribes and scholars to translate as many works as they could into Castilian. This effort led to Castilian supplanting Arabic, Hebrew, Aragonese, Galician, and even Latin in scholarship. But with this explosion of Castilian texts came a need for grammar. Castilian is not Latin, and it needed its own set of rules. While there was no grammar book published during El Sabio's reign, the works of his chancery set the standard. As his views on language evolved, El Sabio would call for new translations of works done earlier in his reign. Spanish learners today have El Sabio to thank for the largely phonetic spelling of Spanish. El Sabio spearheaded an effort to bring Castilian to the Roman alphabet. It had been written in the Arabic script. And as a part of this effort, he worked to rationalize spelling. Again, the diversity of the Castilian court comes into play here because the scribes and scholars were not so Latin-centric that they would introduce Latinizations to the language, which is what happened in French. El Sabio wanted Castilian to be on par with Latin, but as a result of his promotion of Castilian, he set the course to phase out Latin entirely, not just in one small kingdom, but in all of Rome's former provinces. Without Alfonso X, the language map of the world might look a bit different. And at the very least, the Spanish we know today would not be Castilian. Questions, comments, concerns, confusions? Leave them below. Thanks for letting me share a word with you.